Hello everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Intensive Angles. Titled The Angles, right here on your diverse channel, NewsDecoded. Don't miss this episode. We have a story that will keep you hooked on air conditioning. Before we get into the details, please contribute greatly. Click the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Your comments mean a lot to us, and they won't get you to the heart of the story. Apparently, the woman confessed a few days ago, according to initial reports from the Israel Broadcasting Authority. This woman, folks, is from the central region, that is, from the greater Tel Aviv area, in the beating heart of Israel. Isn't she just a woman? That alone gives us an important clue. So, Israel's Channel 13 has long reported that this well-known activist is participating in the opposition to the new Prime Minister's government. And that's precisely why this whole thing is so dangerous to Jews. It's not just a fashion statement. The implications are many. Let's clarify the essential point from the outset. I attacked this woman because of her contacts with other parties, not with hostile contacts like Iran or any other country, as the Shin Bet claims about some of those arrested in a similar incident. It appears she had no contact with Israeli charitable organizations. And the primary goal was to form a cell that might have been targeting the Prime Minister and assassinating him. The Shin Bet, which is currently calling for her, claims she was targeting an IED attack. Therefore, we are not using words or effects here. This was a visual attempt, and the Prime Minister. The essential idea here is not just the attempt itself, but its source. And what is so dangerous to the Nazis is that this attempt is capable of a rapid response in the human body. This reflects not only Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, it also reflects the frustration, distress, and anger that has reached the street. This woman is not Palestinian, but a victim of the occupation or the 1948 territories. She is an Israeli woman from Tel Aviv. Egypt's security services explicitly ban her nationality, but it's clear from the Israeli Shin Bet statement. If she were Palestinian or from the 1948 territories, she would have reveled in it loudly and celebrated the arrest of a terrorist cell seeking liberation, and would have widely publicized the news. Because she is one of the participants, and perhaps even one of the leaders. And she was against the Israeli government. This is very frightening. This situation reflects a very strong feeling, especially among all of them, who have been attacked by the Israeli government to the point that their children are being thrown into a futile war in the Gaza Strip, as everyone described it. Moreover, the subsequent recovery of the hostages and the failure to resolve the battle inside the Gaza Strip may have driven them to this level of anger. This is the first time that efforts by some collective action, unity, or communication have been revealed to escalate what is happening on the street, translating it from a mere socialist campaign against the Prime Minister to an attempt to target him alone. This could increase pressure on the Israeli government and make Israeli agencies feel safe there and able to speak out on the ground, especially since it's clear that she's from the area she's from, Tel Aviv, which indicates a somewhat different segment of the two men. And for this reason, they may not believe in the government's and army's admirable approach, neither before nor during this war. But let me point out, Mark, this isn't the first case from Germany. A few months ago, German Defense Minister Benjamin Katz announced a wool coat for announcing the death of a supporter at his home. There have been many incidents during the remainder of the Israeli war on the Gaza Strip. What exactly is happening in Israel? Why has this anger reached a point that has prompted members of the Jewish community, the elite in Tel Aviv, to consider such extreme measures? This is a fundamental and crucial question. Protests in Israel, as we all know, are nothing new. Before October 7, 2023, mass demonstrations. The country due to the Netanyahu government's attempts to weaken the judiciary. After October 7th, with the outbreak of the Gaza war, these protests didn't stop. On the contrary, they took on new dimensions and became even more intense. The demands changed, or rather, new demands were added. Now, protesters aren't just opposing the judicial reforms. No, they're demanding an immediate deal to bring the prisoners and hostages back from Gaza. And they feel the government is handling this issue too slowly, or not as effectively as it should. Furthermore, there's significant anger about the management of the war itself. Many people in Israel, especially in Tel Aviv, see this war as having no clear objective, or that the declared goals like eradicating Hamas aren't being achieved effectively. And they feel that soldiers are being sent to the battlefield without decisive results, and that the human and economic cost of this war has become excessively high. Tel Aviv, what we call the central region, is known for being a more liberal city with a concentration of middle and upper classes, and people who lean towards secular and left-wing ideas. This makes it a hotbed for protests against Netanyahu's right-wing government. The anger emanating from Tel Aviv carries a special resonance, because it's not coming from the fringes or from groups that might traditionally be in opposition. When you see an assassination attempt like this emerging from the heart of Tel Aviv, it's not just a security incident. It's a dangerous indicator of the level of despair and frustration that may have reached segments of Israeli society. When these people, who used to consider themselves the backbone of the state and participated in various institutions, reach a point of contemplating violence, it means a deep rift is occurring. Also, there's another important point. The relationship between the government and the public in Israel has become very strained. Many polls show that public trust in Netanyahu's government is declining significantly. People are not only dissatisfied with the government's performance in the war, but also with how it's handling the economic crisis and the societal divisions. This incident, whose details we're revealing to you on Dark Corners, sends a clear message to the Israeli security agencies. This message says that the threat isn't just coming from outside or from traditional enemies. The threat could also be from within, from people who were once part of the social and political fabric. And this places a huge burden on the Shin Bet and other security agencies. Could we see more incidents like this in the future? And does this mean that anger in Israel could turn into other forms of internal violence? These are tough questions, and the answer will depend on the Israeli government's ability to address the legitimate demands of the protesters, and to unite an Israeli society that has become more divided than ever before. Ultimately, this story shows us how complex and intertwined the situation in Israel is. Popular anger, political crisis, war management. The fate of the hostages, all these factors combine to create fertile ground for tension, and perhaps for extremist acts of violence. And this keeps the security agencies on high alert. This also confirms that the stakes in a conflict like this, or during a period like this, are not just military or political. The stakes are also about the internal stability of society, and the ability of leaders to contain anger and prevent it from turning into self-destruction. And that's a lesson everyone needs to take into account. Netanyahu himself has faced many threats and assassination attempts throughout his long political career. But when the threat comes from the heart of his own street, and from people who were part of the protests against his policies, that makes the matter completely different, more complex, and far more dangerous. The near future for Israel will show whether the security agencies and the government can handle these internal challenges with the same efficiency they deal with external threats. Otherwise, we might find that these dark corners in Israeli society are revealed more and more, bringing with them unforeseen consequences. And that concludes our Hot Files segment today. We hope you gained valuable insight from this deep dive into the situation in Israel. We hope you're seeing the full picture with us. And that's it for Dark Corners today on News Decoded. A huge thank you for tuning in and watching us. Please, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and hit that notification bell. And of course, we're waiting for your comments and thoughts on today's episode. We'll catch you next time with a new episode and a new topic on News Decoded, always bringing you the news from its roots. See you then.